I'm not much for writing, never have been, but I'm sitting here with my laptop, feeling like I might punch a hole through the screen if I don't get this out. My name's Ethan, and my life just got turned upside down in a way I didn't see coming. I'm angry, numb, and honestly, kind of lost. This whole mess is so wild, I'm not sure anyone will believe it, but I need to tell it anyway. Maybe it'll help me make sense of it, or maybe I just want someone out there to hear me. Either way, here it goes, and it's a long one, so hang tight. It all started last October. I was engaged to this woman, Claire, who I thought was my forever. We'd been together 3 years, had a little apartment picked out to move into after the holidays. Things were good, or so I thought. But then I started picking up on weird vibes. You know that feeling when something's off, but you can't quite nail it down? That was me. Claire started acting different. Always glued to her phone, not just scrolling, but typing fast, and tilting the screen away when I got close. I asked her about it once, and she said it was just her friends group chat, nothing big. I let it slide because she's always been the social type, always texting her crew. I didn't want to be that guy who gets paranoid over nothing. Then my older brother, Mason, rolled back into town. He'd been gone for a couple years, working some fancy job out west. My family, mom, dad, and pretty much everyone else, treats Mason like he's the second coming. He's the golden boy, always has been. Growing up, it was always Mason did this, or Mason's gonna be something big. Me? I was just Ethan, the guy who showed up and got stuff done. I don't hate Mason, but it's always been clear he's the star, and I'm the understudy. That's not me whining, it's just how it is. So Mason's back, and Claire starts spending a ton of time with him. She said she was just helping him settle in, showing him the new spots in town since he'd been gone. At first, I didn't think much of it. My family's tight-knit, always in each other's business, and Claire's friendly with everyone. But then it got weird. She'd be out with Mason all the time, grabbing coffee, hitting up the mall, whatever. One night, I called her, and she said she was at her place, but I heard Mason's voice in the background, laughing. I asked if he was there, and she got all flustered, said he just stopped by. I brushed it off, but it stuck with me. Why lie about something like that? Little things kept piling up. Claire started bailing on plans with me, saying she was helping my mom with errands, or was too tired to come over. But then I'd see her post on Instagram, dinner at some new restaurant, not with me. One photo had Mason's dumb leather jacket in the background, the one he's worn forever. I felt like a creep zooming in, but there it was. I still didn't think they were together, not really. I just figured they were hanging out too much and being weird about it. I trusted her. I trusted him. They were my fiancé and my brother, for God's sake. Then came the hammer. My family's got this big group text for planning stuff, like most families do. Around mid-November, my mom starts organizing Thanksgiving. It's a big deal for us, always at their house. Everyone shows up, no exceptions. I'm not huge on holidays, but I never miss it. This time, though, I get a text from my mom. Not a call, just a text, saying I should probably sit this one out. Said it'd be too tense because of recent events. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? I scroll through the group chat, and there's my dad and Mason going on about keeping the peace and being adults. I text Claire, and she just says, I'm sorry, this is better for everyone. I'm floored. What is happening? I call my mom, needing answers. She picks up, and, without even letting me talk, says, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Mason and Claire are together now. It's real, and you need to let it go. I can't even speak. I ask if I heard her right, and she doubles down, says they're in love, and I should be happy for them. I laugh, not because it's funny, but because it's insane. Mason grabs the phone and says, she picked me, man. You gotta accept it. I'm shaking, ready to drive over and lose it. I hang up, check the group chat, and see they've all decided I'm not welcome. My dad texts me privately. You were never right for her. Stop playing the victim. I don't know how to explain what that felt like. It wasn't just anger. It was like the ground disappeared under me. I sat there, staring at my phone, rereading the messages. Then I did something I didn't expect. I smiled. Not a happy smile, but one of those cold ones where you realize you're done. I typed one last message to the group chat. Thanks for showing me who you really are. Makes it easy to walk away. Then I left the chat, blocked Mason, blocked Claire, blocked my parents. I didn't cry or yell. I just felt empty. I grabbed what I could from my apartment. Most of it was already packed since I was supposed to move in with Claire after the holidays. I drove to a buddy's place, not even a close friend, just a guy with a spare room who doesn't pry. I sat in my truck outside his house, scrolling through my phone one last time, looking at the texts. Then I shut it off. I was done, but I wasn't going to just fade away. They made their choice, and I was going to make mine. I didn't know what yet, but I knew it was going to hit them where it hurt. This isn't over, not by a long shot. The days after I sent that group chat message felt like I was living in someone else's life. I kept expecting my phone to buzz with an apology, maybe Claire saying it was all a mix-up, or my mom admitting they'd gone too far. But nothing. Just this heavy silence, like the kind you get when you know people are whispering about you behind your back. My name's Ethan, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how my family, my own blood, chose my brother Mason and my fiancée Claire over me. I'm holed up in my buddy Jake's spare room, living out of duffel bags. And let me tell you, it's as grim as it sounds. Jake's a good guy. Didn't ask questions when I showed up with half my life in my truck. Just tossed me a key and pointed to the guest room. I left most of my stuff in the truck bed, covered with a tarp, because unpacking felt too permanent, like admitting this was my new normal. I'd sit on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone, scrolling through old texts from Claire, looking for signs I missed. I didn't cry, but I was mad. Mad at her, mad at Mason, mad at myself for not seeing it sooner. I deleted Instagram after I saw a post from my cousin Lila, some family dinner pic with Mason and Claire in the background, my mom beaming like she'd hit the jackpot. Blocked her, blocked everyone who liked it. Couldn't stomach it. That first week, I was a ghost. Barely ate, barely slept. Just went through the motions, showered, choked down some cereal, stared at the ceiling. A friend from work, Tom, texted me, asking if I was okay. I said I was fine, not wanting to spill the whole mess. He sent a cool, let me know if you need me, and that was it. People don't know what to say when your family pulls something this rotten. They'd rather pretend it's not happening. I got it, but it still stung. The more I sat with it, the angrier I got. It wasn't just Claire cheating or Mason betraying me. It was how my whole family acted like I was the problem for being upset. Growing up, Mason was always the one they pinned their hopes on. He'd get a B on a test, and it was a parade. I'd get an A, and it was, good job, Ethan. Mason could do no wrong. While I was the guy who fixed the leaky sink or drove mom to the store when her car was in the shop. I was reliable, which sounds nice until you realize it just means they expected me to take the hits and keep quiet. Then I started thinking about all the ways I'd let them walk over me. A couple years back, my parents needed someone to co-sign a loan for this old duplex they bought as a rental. Mason's credit was shot. Guy spends money like it's water, so they asked me. I said yes, thinking it'd help the family. Dumb move. Mason's been living in that duplex ever since. No rent, no bills, with my parents covering the utilities. I never saw a dime, never asked for one. Now, that just burned me up. Claire, too. She owed me money from stuff we'd split, like deposits for our new place and a couch we bought together. Nothing crazy, but maybe a grand total. She kept saying she'd pay me back, then forgot. I let it slide because I loved her. Now, every time I saw those old texts, I'll get you next week, I wanted to chuck my phone across the room. That's when my brain flipped a switch. I wasn't going to just sit here, licking my wounds. I wasn't going to let them pretend I didn't exist. I wanted them to feel what I felt, even just a little. Not like slashing tires or anything stupid. I'm not that guy. But I knew where they were vulnerable. Money, stability, the perfect family image they loved to flaunt. I started digging through my email, pulling up every receipt, every text about that duplex, every promise Claire made to pay me back. I made a spreadsheet, not because I'm that organized, but because I needed to see it all laid out. I called a friend, Ryan, who knows a bit about real estate law, not a lawyer, just a guy who's been around the block. He said since I'm on the loan for the duplex, I've got leverage. I could demand to be bought out or force a sale. Mason couldn't afford to buy me out, and my parents aren't exactly swimming in cash, always bailing Mason out of his messes. A sale would screw up their whole setup. I started drafting an email to my parents, something like, I'm done with the duplex. You've got 30 days to buy me out, or it's going on the market. I didn't send it yet. Wanted to time it right, let it hit hard. For Claire, I put together a folder, screenshots of every text where she said she'd pay me back, plus receipts for what we'd split. I sent her a message, you owe me $1,000. I want it by the end of the month, or I'm taking it to small claims. She read it, didn't reply. I sent a follow-up. She just liked the message, like that was supposed to mean something. Classic Claire. A few mutual friends started texting, saying stuff like, hey, sorry about you and Claire, but maybe let it go. They're happy. I asked one guy, you think it's cool what they did? He said, Mason said you weren't around much anyway. That lit me up. They were spinning it like I was the problem. I sent a couple friends the screenshots, not to be a jerk, but to set the record straight. Most didn't respond, but one said, man, that's messed up. I didn't know. Small win, I guess. My cousin Lila texted, saying I should move on and not make things weird for the family. She's always been my mom's mouthpiece. I told her I was done with the family, and she said, fine, but don't ruin Thanksgiving for everyone. I asked how I was ruining anything when they kicked me out. She sent a long rant about family being messy. I left her on read. I started cutting ties hard, unfollowed anyone who liked Mason and Claire's posts, blocked anyone sending me guilt trips. My world's smaller now, but it's real. I heard through the grapevine that Mason and Claire were already playing house, having friends over like they'd been together forever. My mom was dropping off casseroles, my dad bragging about Mason finally settling down. They wanted me to vanish, but I wasn't going to. I know what matters to them, money, comfort, looking good to the neighbors. I'm not breaking any laws, just taking back what's mine. Next step, sending that email about the duplex, following up with Claire, and making sure everyone knows the truth. I'm not sure how this ends, but I'm not backing down. They're going to feel this. I'm Ethan, and I'm still reeling from how my family, my parents, my brother Mason, and my ex-fiancée Claire turned their backs on me. I'm crashing at my buddy Jake's place, my life stuffed into bags and boxes, trying to figure out how to hit back without losing myself. I'd been stewing for days, planning my next move, and when I finally sent that email about the duplex, it felt like firing a shot I couldn't take back. Let me tell you, it stirred up a storm I didn't quite expect. I'd spend hours tweaking that email to my parents. Kept it short, no emotions, just facts. I'm done with the duplex. You've got 30 days to buy me out, or I'm listing it for sale. I read it over a dozen times, making sure it was ironclad. When I hit send, my stomach twisted, not with regret, but with this weird rush, like I just stepped off a ledge. I didn't have to wait long for the fallout. My dad called not 10 minutes later. I let it ring, watching his name flash on my phone. He called again, then texted. What's this about? Call me now. My mom jumped in next, her message all caps. Are you serious? We need to talk. Mason texted too, just a string of question marks. I ignored them all, grabbed my jacket, and went for a drive. The cold air hit my face, and I cranked some old rock tunes, trying to drown out the noise in my head. I didn't answer anyone for a few hours. Just drove around, past the old diner where Claire and I used to grab burgers, past the park where Mason and I played ball as kids. Memories kept sneaking in, but I shoved them down. When I finally got back to Jake's, I called my dad back, mostly because I knew he'd keep blowing up my phone if I didn't. He answered on the first ring, already yelling. What are you trying to pull, Ethan? This is our property. I kept my voice flat. It's my name on the loan too. I'm out. Buy me out or it's gone. He started ranting about how Mason needs the place, how I'm screwing over the family. I cut him off. You picked your side. Figure it out. He called me ungrateful. I hung up. My mom called next, her voice sharp. You're making this so hard on everyone, she said. Why can't you just let it go? I told her, I'm not the one who made it hard. You did that when you chose Mason. She said I was being cruel, that family doesn't do this. I laughed, bitter. Family doesn't kick out their own son either. She started crying, but I didn't budge. I set my phone down and went to bed, though I barely slept. The next morning, Mason called. I picked up, curious to hear his excuse. He started smooth, like we were just having a beer and catching up. Come on, man, you don't need to do this. We're brothers. I wasn't buying it. Brothers don't steal each other's fiancés and get a free pass. He got heated, said I was blowing it out of proportion, that Claire and him were meant to be. I told him, you can have her, but you're not getting a free house too. Pay rent or get out. He called me a loser, said I was jealous. I hung up, my hand shaking. He texted right after, you'll regret this. I didn't reply. Claire was next on my list. I sent her another message about the $1,000 she owed me, attaching the folder with every receipt and text promise. Pay up by the end of the month, or I'm filing in small claims, I wrote. She read it, didn't answer. I sent a follow-up, same thing. Finally, she texted back. This is so petty, Ethan. I just resent the payment breakdown. No words. She didn't respond again, but I wasn't letting it go. The group chat with some old friends started buzzing. Someone shared a screenshot of Mason's Instagram story, some vague quote about cutting out toxic people. I rolled my eyes but sent the chat my receipts, screenshots of the group text where my family ditched me, Claire's promises to pay, the works. No commentary, just the truth. A couple friends messaged me privately. One said, damn, that's rough. I had no idea. Another just said, sorry, man. Most stayed quiet. People don't like picking sides, but I wasn't letting Mason and Claire rewrite the story. My cousin Lila called, all huffy, saying I was tearing the family apart. She's always been my mom's echo. I told her, they tore it apart when they told me to skip Thanksgiving. She said I was being dramatic, that Mason and Claire were happy, and I should move on. I asked, how's it dramatic to hold people accountable? She didn't have an answer, just sighed and hung up. I blocked her after that. My parents kept texting, flipping between guilt trips and anger. My dad sent, you're better than this, Ethan. My mom wrote, we're your family. Don't do this. I didn't answer. I heard from a neighbor that Mason and Claire were still acting like the perfect couple, hosting game nights at the duplex. My mom was there, bringing desserts, while my dad told everyone Mason was finally growing up. It made me sick, but it also lit a fire. They thought they could erase me, but I wasn't going anywhere. I kept my circle tight, Jake, a couple work buddies, nobody tied to my family. I started planning my next steps, push the duplex sale, get my money from Claire, make sure everyone knew what went down. I wasn't yelling it from the rooftops, just being clear. I didn't know how they'd react, but I was ready for the fight. They'd learn soon enough that I wasn't the guy who just takes it anymore. I'm Ethan, and I'm in the thick of it now. My family, mom, dad, my brother Mason, and my ex-fiancée Claire, thought they could shove me out of their lives like I was yesterday's trash. I'm still bunking at my friend Jake's place, my stuff crammed in his spare room, but I'm not just sitting here taking it. I sent that email about selling the duplex, and it's like I kicked a hornet's nest. They're coming at me hard, but I'm not backing down. This is about making them see I'm not invisible. After that email, my phone was a war zone. My dad called nonstop, leaving voicemails that went from pleading to pissed. Ethan, this is crazy. Let's talk, turned into, you're destroying everything. I didn't pick up. My mom's texts were a roller coaster, first begging me to reconsider, then accusing me of betraying the family. Mason sent a message saying, "You're making a huge mistake. Man, chill out." I left them all on read, went for a walk to clear my head. The winter air was sharp, and I kept my hood up, music blaring, trying to shake the weight of it all. I finally called my dad back late that night, mostly to keep him from showing up at Jake's. He started in right away, voice tight. "You can't just sell the duplex. Mason's got nowhere else to go." I kept it simple. "My name's on the loan. I'm done carrying you all. Buy me out or it's listed." He tried guilt, said I was putting them in a bind, that I owed them for all they'd done. I laughed, cold. "Owed you? You kicked me out of Thanksgiving for Mason and Claire." He yelled I was selfish. I hung up, my heart pounding. My mom tried next, calling the next morning. She was all tears, saying, "We're your family, Ethan. How can you do this?" I told her, "You made it clear I'm not family when you chose Mason." She said I was breaking her heart, that I didn't understand how hard this was for them. I said, "Hard for you? Try being told you're not welcome at your own family's table." She sobbed, but I didn't soften. I'd heard her fake tears before when she wanted me to fix something. I ended the call, feeling drained but steady. Mason showed up at Jake's that evening, banging on the door like a lunatic. I was in the kitchen, heating up leftovers, when Jake yelled, "Yo, Ethan, your brother's here." I walked to the door, saw Mason's face, all red and wild. He started shouting, "You're not going to ruin my life over this." Jake tried to step in, but Mason pushed past him. I met him in the hallway, kept my voice low. "You ruined your own life when you went after Claire." He got in my face, shoved me. I shoved back, hard. Jake grabbed him, told him to get out. Mason swung at the air, cussing, then stormed off, slamming the door. Jake looked at me, shook his head. "Your family's intense, man." I just nodded. My mom texted right after, saying, "Mason said you attacked him. What's wrong with you?" I wrote back, "He showed up uninvited and got in my face. Tell him to stay away, or I'm calling the cops." She replied, "Don't threaten your brother." I said, "Then keep him on a leash." She didn't answer. My dad called later, saying, "This is bigger than you, Ethan. You're messing with our future." I told him, "You should have thought about that before you picked sides." He hung up, and I felt this strange calm, like I was finally in control. Claire was still dodging me on the $1,000 she owed. I'd sent her the receipts, the texts, everything. She kept reading my messages, no reply. Finally, I sent a formal demand letter, found a template online, filled it out, emailed it. She paid half the next day, $500, with a note. "This is all I can do right now." I replied, "You owe the rest by the end of the month, or I'm filing." She blocked me. I saw her post a cryptic Instagram story about moving on from negativity. I laughed, saved the screenshot. The group chat with friends was a mess. Someone posted Mason's latest rant about fake loyalty. I sent my evidence again, texts, emails, the whole deal. A few friends bailed on the chat, not wanting the drama. One guy, Pete, messaged me, "I didn't realize it was this bad. I'm sorry." Another said, "You're doing the right thing." It wasn't much, but it felt good to know someone saw it my way. My cousin Lila kept pushing, texting me to think about the family. I told her, they didn't think about me when they banned me from Thanksgiving. She said I was being stubborn. I blocked her. I heard Mason and Claire were still playing happy couple at the duplex, throwing parties like nothing happened. My mom was there, dropping off groceries. My dad was telling neighbors Mason was building a life. It made my blood boil, but it also sharpened my focus. I wasn't doing anything illegal, just taking back what I'd given them for years. My silence, my help, my loyalty. I kept pushing the duplex sale, followed up with Claire, and made sure my side of the story was out there. They wanted to erase me, but I was making sure they couldn't. This fight was just getting started. I'm Ethan, and I'm deep in this mess with my family, my parents, my brother Mason, and my ex-fiancée Claire. They thought they could push me out, but I'm not going quietly. I'm still at Jake's, my life in boxes, but I've got a fire in me now. That email about selling the duplex lit a fuse, and the explosion's coming. My family's scrambling, and I'm not letting up, not after they chose Mason over me. The days after Mason's stunt at Jake's were chaos. My dad started calling every few hours, leaving voicemails that swung from begging to threatening. "Ethan, we can work this out," became, "You'll regret this if you push it." I didn't answer. My mom sent long texts about family loyalty, saying I was tearing them apart. Mason texted too, trying to play it cool. "Let's grab a beer, talk it out." I ignored them all, focusing on my plan. I met with a realtor, a guy Ryan recommended, who said the duplex could sell fast. I told him to start the process, get it appraised, ready the paperwork. My parents had 30 days, and I wasn't bluffing. My dad called again, and this time I picked up. He was calmer, trying to negotiate. "We'll buy you out, Ethan, but we need time." I said, "You've got 25 days left. That's it." He started talking about Mason's future, how he needed stability. I cut him off. "You made your choice when you backed him and Claire. Deal with it." He said I was being heartless. I told him, "Heartless is telling your son he's not welcome at Thanksgiving." He went quiet, then hung up. My mom tried next, her voice shaky. "We're struggling, Ethan. Please stop this." I said, "You stopped caring about me first." She cried, but I was done falling for it. Claire finally paid the rest of the $1,000, but only after I sent another demand letter, this time with a court filing date. She Venmoed the money with a note. Happy now? I didn't reply, just saved the transaction. Her Instagram was full of vague posts about toxic people, but I didn't care. I'd gotten what was mine. Mutual friends were splitting. Some ghosted me. Others reached out. One, Sarah, said, I saw your screenshots. That's awful. I thanked her but kept my distance. I didn't need pity, just clarity. My cousin Lila kept stirring the pot, texting about how my parents were falling apart. I told her, they did this to themselves. She said I was cruel, that Mason and Claire were happy. I replied, they can be happy somewhere else. She didn't answer. I heard Mason and Claire were still living it up at the duplex, acting like nothing was wrong. My mom was cooking them meals, my dad bragging about Mason's new chapter. It fueled me. I wasn't just selling the duplex, I was pulling the rug out from under their perfect little world. The realtor called, said the duplex was valued higher than I thought. Good news, but it meant my parents would fight harder. My dad sent a lawyer's letter, claiming I couldn't force a sale. I showed it to Ryan's real estate guy, who laughed. Your name's on the loan. They've got no case. I told the realtor to keep moving. My family wanted to play hardball? Fine. I was ready. I'm Ethan, and things are coming to a head. My family's in a panic over the duplex sale, and I'm not slowing down. They thought they could erase me, my parents, Mason, Claire, but I'm making sure they feel the consequences. I'm still at Jake's, but I'm starting to see a way out, a life without their weight on my shoulders. The realtor listed the duplex, and the sign went up a week later. My dad called at night, screaming, You're killing us, Ethan. Take it down. I stayed calm. You've got 15 days to buy me out. Clock's ticking. He said they couldn't afford it, that Mason was broke, that I was ruining their retirement. I said, You ruined your family when you picked him over me. He called me a traitor. I hung up, my hand steady. My mom tried next, sending a long email about forgiveness, attaching old photos of us kids. I archived it, didn't reply. Mason showed up at Jake's again, but Jake saw him coming and locked the door. Mason yelled through it, You're dead to me. I shouted back, You were dead to me first. He left, tires screeching. Claire was out of the picture now, money paid, but I heard she and Mason were rocky. A friend said she'd moved out of the duplex, tired of Mason's laziness and my mom's meddling. I didn't care, but it felt like a crack in their facade. My parents kept calling, texting, emailing. My dad tried threats. We'll sue you. I said, Try it. I'm in the right. My mom went emotional, saying, You're breaking my heart. I told her, You broke mine first. My cousin Lila sent a group text, begging for a family meeting. I replied, No thanks. I'm done. She called me selfish. I blocked her. Friends were picking sides. Some cut me off, siding with Mason's sob story. Others, like Pete, stuck by me, saying, You're doing what you gotta do. I kept my circle small, just Jake and a couple others. The duplex got an offer solid, above asking. I told the realtor to accept unless my parents matched it. They didn't. My dad called, voice cracked, saying, We're losing everything. I said, You lost me first. The sale closed a week later. I got my share, enough to clear my debts and start fresh. Mason had to move out, crashing with a friend. My parents lost their rental income, and I heard they were fighting nonstop. My mom posted on Facebook some vague nonsense about hard times. I didn't comment, just watched. Mason's Instagram went quiet. No more perfect couple posts. Claire was gone, and he was spiraling. My family wanted me to disappear, but I'd turned the tables. It wasn't about revenge, it was about stopping their game. I wasn't done, though. I had one more move to make sure they'd never forget. I'm Ethan, and this is where it ends, or maybe where it starts. My family, Mom, Dad, Mason, thought they could wipe me out, but I flipped the script. The duplex is sold, my debts are clear, and I'm moving on, but not before they face the mess they made. I'm not at Jake's anymore. Got my own place now, small but mine. The quiet's strange, but it's honest. After the sale, my family went silent for a bit, like they hoped I'd cave and come crawling back. Then the call started. My dad first, short texts, Can we talk? I didn't answer. My mom sent a long message about family being forever, saying I was stubborn. I replied, No, then it hit hard. My cousin Lila called, frantic, saying my parents were a wreck, Mason was back home, and everyone was fighting. Don't you care? She asked. I said, They didn't care when they ditched me. She hung up, mad. Mason texted a novel, blaming me for ruining his life. I didn't reply. He called, left a voicemail, just cursing and breathing heavy. I deleted it. My mom sent a group text with my dad, pleading, You're our son. We need you. I wrote back, You made your choice. Live with it. My dad showed up at my new place, tracked me down somehow. Stood outside, yelling my name. I didn't open the door. Jake, who'd come by for pizza, texted me, Your dad's out there. You good? I said, Yeah, let him yell. He left eventually. I heard Mason and Claire were done for good. She told friends Mason was a leech, and my mom's hovering drove her nuts. Mason tried crashing with buddies, but no one wanted him long-term. My parents were drowning, no rental income, no golden son to prop up. My dad sent an email, pages long, about forgiveness and starting over. I archived it. My mom tried one last time, calling, saying, We just want our family back. I said, You had one. You picked Mason. She didn't call again. I saw Mason once at a gas station. He looked rough, avoided my eyes. My mom tried waving me down at the grocery store. I kept walking. My dad sent a text about men sticking together. I didn't answer. My life's small now, Jake, Pete, a couple work friends. The money from the duplex got me a fresh start, no ties to them. I'm still angry, but it's quieter, like a low hum. I don't feel victorious, just free. If you're reading this, wondering if you should let family walk all over you, here's my take. Don't. They'll miss you when you stop fixing their messes, but that's their problem. I'm done with mine. No big lessons, no happy ending, just me, moving forward, and them, dealing with what's left. That's enough.